Hi, Sandra Wilson here, clinical hypnotherapist, and in today's video I'm just going to talk a little bit about low self-esteem in general, because I work with it a lot and it does happen quite a lot more frequently with ADHD. So low self-esteem in and of itself is a very common problem, and it stems from negative perceptions of ourselves, negative beliefs about ourselves and what we're capable of. And you might find that you compare yourself to other people unfavourably, that you might go through social media scrolling and just compare yourself to all these friends you might have, people you know who are all off having wonderful lives, going on lovely holidays, looking fantastic. You might feel very sensitive to criticism too, and rejection, that they go hand in hand. So by training yourself to show yourself a little kindness and compassion can go a long way in bolstering your sense of self-worth, which in turn can make you feel a little less sensitive to criticism and rejection. So thinking well of yourself is not arrogant. I think this is part of the problem. People think, oh, I better not think well of myself, pay myself compliments because it's a little arrogant. And in fact, oftentimes arrogance comes from a very, very different place than healthy self-worth. So if you can change the way you think to really value yourself a little more and see the value that you add to people's lives, to the world, and think of yourself more as a friend, be your own friend rather than your own worst enemy. I mean, this can be life-changing, even though it might give you the ick when you first start doing it, because you'll be thinking, oh no, this does not feel right, this is very uncomfortable. Sometimes when I'm working with my clients in my hypnotherapy practice, I do ask them to come up with a number of things they like about themselves, usually 3 things, and you'd be surprised at the amount of people that struggle with this. But once I give them a little space, a little encouragement, often they can find things that they do like. So if you want to make positive changes in your life and you want to be a little bit less sensitive to criticism, to rejection, and maybe be able to assert yourself a little bit more confidently in your relationships, at home, in the workplace, it's so important to begin a little process of self-belief, self-worth, and growing that. And you can learn to do this. You can learn to trust in your judgment and make the right decisions for yourself and overcome those negative, deeply held beliefs that might be holding you back, whether that relates to your career, your education, or your personal relationships at home, in the family. So if you would like to have some help with growing your self-esteem, hypnotherapy is a really good type of therapy to do this, because it can help you to identify and change unhelpful thinking about who you are. And you'd be surprised what's lurking beneath the surface. And when we start to identify what's there with compassion in a safe space, that's when we can really start to notice the ability to make changes. And if this sounds like it might help you, especially if you're a woman with ADHD, late diagnosed or maybe undiagnosed, and you have been struggling with feelings of rejection sensitivity and sensitivity to being criticised, then maybe it's time to get in touch. Bye for now.